In 2013, a housekeeper went to prison for murder, and yet there was no body, no witnesses, and no physical proof. It felt impossible. It felt like a sentence carved out of thin air. This is the kind of case that stops people mid-scroll. You read the headline and your brain says, wait, because what the court called a conviction looked nothing like justice. Listen. Her name was Rosa Valdez. She was 32. She cleaned houses. She had 2 kids. She drove an old sedan that rattled like a metronome. Her employer was a man named Thomas Mercer. He lived in a big glass house on a hill. He owned a tech startup that had just gone public. He had a smile that showed teeth like a shutter. Neighbors liked him. Neighbors said he gave parties. Neighbors said he donated to schools. Then he vanished. One week he was on the front page for a charity gala. The next week his Tahoe sat in the driveway. His phone went straight to voicemail. His car keys were on the counter. His apartment looked untouched. Netflix still logged him in. People assumed he left. Maybe he took a break. Maybe he fled. Maybe he was hiding from something. Police visited. They asked questions. They shook their heads. They took a few photos. No blood. No signs of a struggle. The only odd thing, Thomas's safe was open. A few small things were missing. Not the computers. Not the main accounts. Just a handful of items his sister later called petty. That's when the story bent. Rosa was the last person seen inside Thomas's house. She'd been there to clean. She was polite. She was terrified of losing work. She said she'd left at noon. A neighbor said they saw her car pull away. That was it. 2 months later, detectives arrested Rosa. They charged her with murder. The police narrative moved fast. They said Rosa had motive. They said she had opportunity. They said she had lied. Evidence? There was very little. A mark on a towel. A smear that tested inconclusive. A witness who later admitted he only thought he saw something. A phone log with a call to a burner number. The burner belonged to a woman who claimed Rosa had a grudge. No body. No witness who'd actually seen a killing. No DNA connecting Rosa to a corpse. Still, the prosecution built a tower out of these pebbles. The press loved it. It was clean. It had villains. It had mystery. It had a poor maid and a rich victim. It had the kind of moral shorthand that feeds clicks. People want answers. But sometimes the answers they get are tidy in all the wrong ways. Courtroom scenes are short in headlines. In reality, they stretch like pulled taffy. Rosa sat small in an oversized sweater. Her hands trembled. A translator whispered into her ear. She kept her eyes down. The prosecutor painted Rosa as angry. He said she'd been fired weeks earlier. He said Lola, Thomas's house manager, had witness statements to that effect. But when Lola took the stand, her memory flickered. She mixed up dates. She stammered. She said one thing and then the opposite. Still, the judge let the story stand. It was all stitched together in a way that looked coherent if you squinted. Behind closed doors, people whispered about pressure. Thomas's company had investors. Investors wanted closure. There were rumors of an insurance policy with a suspicious clause. There were rumors of a key email that disappeared. A pattern began to form. Detectives who liked fast results. Prosecutors who wanted a headline. A system that, in the rush, skipped small but crucial checks. Then came the inconsistencies. Rosa had an alibi that never made the social feeds. A neighbor from 2 blocks over who owned a deli said Rosa had stopped by. He remembered because she bought 2 soda bottles and asked for extra ice for her kids. He wrote her name on the receipt. He kept the receipt. That receipt vanished in the case file. Not misplaced. Just gone. There was surveillance around Thomas's neighborhood. Cameras on lampposts and shop windows on a gas station. Most footage was grainy. Some days it was deleted in compliance with privacy rules. Other clips were unavailable due to server error. A tech specialist later testified that the servers had undergone maintenance the night before Thomas disappeared. Maintenance. Coincidence or convenience? A forensics report listed fibers found on Thomas's living room chair. They matched the brand of Rosa's uniform. But the lab technician who ran the test admitted she'd never actually compared the fibers side by side. She'd only typed her conclusion into a form. When defense counsel asked for a retest, the lab said the original samples were used up. No retest possible. Small things. Paper trails with holes. Names that blurred out in documents. Evidence slipping through fingers like water. Everyone felt the tension rising. Even the judge seemed tired. The courtroom was a pressure cooker. Then the oddest twist. A witness named Marco appeared. Marco worked security for a nearby complex. He claimed he'd seen a man leaving Thomas's house the night he vanished. He said the man was tall. He said the man had a limp. He described a tattoo. Marco's statement was precise. Too precise. On cross-examination, Marco struggled. He changed shoe sizes. He mixed the date. He said he never said anything about a tattoo, then corrected himself. When the defense pulled the CCTV from Marco's building, they found a clip. It showed Marco sweeping the lot at the time he claimed to have witnessed the man leaving. He was alone. No one passed by. Why would Marco lie? Because later Marco would be revealed to be in debt. Because later, Marco would be caught texting with an account linked to Thomas's company PR. Why would company PR text a security guard about witness lines? Why did Marco's landlord say Marco had taken a trip to a town where a private investigator lived? These threads tangled. Then came the confession. The prosecution brought in a taped interview. Police recorded Rosa speaking in broken bursts. She said things that sounded like guilt. She admitted to being in the house when something happened. She said she panicked. But the tape was ugly. The room hummed. Off camera, a voice, an interrogator, pushed and pushed. Rosa sounded tired. She repeated what the voice suggested. She parroted phrases. At trial, the defense argued coercion. They showed transcripts where detectives promised leniency. They showed an officer telling Rosa, "It will be worse if you don't help us." The judge allowed the tape into evidence anyway. Jurors are human. They heard a woman say something that sounded like guilt. They heard a story that fit the mosaic prosecutors had built. They convicted her. People cheered outside the courthouse. Columns affirmed the need for tough policing. Families wanted closure, even a false one. But here's the thing about false closures. They leave stains. They leave unanswered questions that fester. Inside the prison, Rosa wrote letters. She wrote to her sister. She wrote to her children. She wrote to one journalist named Mara Ortega. Mara was a podcaster who liked cold trails. She started digging. She listened to defense tapes. She talked to the deli owner. She tracked down an email chain with deleted lines using archive tools. Mara found something that turned her stomach. On Thomas's work laptop, the one missing from the list, there were ghost files in the recycle bin. Files that a clumsy cleaner could miss when emptying. One file had a name, Mercer_Splend.docx. Mara requested it. The company said they'd never seen it. The cloud logs showed a last access from an IP that matched a vendor company. A vendor company owned by a man named Victor Hale. Victor had been Thomas's business partner. Victor's name came with its own baggage. He had a reputation for aggressive deals. He had a habit of suing people. He had a temper that turned meetings into fights. Mara confronted Victor on a recording. He smiled. He gave a calm answer. "I don't know what you're talking about," he said. But his hands trembled. The more Mara pushed, the more doors opened. A bank statement surfaced. Large transfers the day after Thomas vanished. To an offshore account. The beneficiary? A shell company with a name similar to one Victor had used. Now the narrative flips. True, Victor had motive. He had means. But where was the body? Why frame Rosa? The twist is this. The rich man who vanished might have staged his own disappearance. And the person who benefited, legally and financially, wasn't Rosa. It was the partner. Or someone else entirely. But a twist like that is dangerous. When you point the finger at a powerful man, whispers turn to threats. Mara received an envelope. No return address. Inside, a single Polaroid. It showed Thomas smiling at a dock. He looked alive. A date stamped the corner. 2 weeks after he vanished. Mara's palms went cold. She checked the metadata. It had been stripped. Professional work. She forwarded the Polaroid to Rosa's lawyer. He laughed until he didn't. He said, "If that photo is real, this case collapses." Then the lawyer was arrested on an unrelated charge. The charge was minor. Coincidence? Maybe. The defense team splintered. One lawyer quit. Another fell ill. The lead investigator on the defense said someone had tried to buy him off. He sent a text. "Don't meet Victor alone." The pressure mounted. People started to disappear from the outer rings of the case. A paralegal who'd worked late on the file stopped answering calls. A neighbor who'd once helped Rosa with childcare moved away overnight. Rumors spread like oil. "Get out," people whispered. "Stop asking." But the truth had teeth. It kept biting. Mara published a short episode. It trended. People demanded a reopening. Prosecutors scoffed. They said, "We've closed this." That's when the final chilling fact came to light. A deleted security timestamp on Thomas's company server showed a remote login the night he vanished. The IP traced back to a cleaning company's client portal. But the login time was wrong. It matched the hour when Rosa claimed she had left the house. Someone had used Rosa's credentials. Not her. Someone else. The fingerprint on the login? It belonged to an unregistered device. But the MAC traced to a rental car company. A car that Victor had rented under an alias 2 days earlier. Piecing this together felt like assembling a cut-up map. Every time Mara connected 2 dots, 3 more appeared. Now you have motive, means, and manufactured evidence. You have the partner benefiting. You have company PR nudging witnesses. You have security guards who lie. You have lab tests that evaporate. And at the center? Rosa. Small. Scared. A pawn. But the courtroom had spoken. She was serving time. This is where things go stiller. Where the air tastes metallic. Mara got one more message. No sender. Just one line, "Stop or you will be next." Mara replied anyway. She wrote, "Who sent the Polaroid?" 2 hours later, she got a video file. The clip was short. 5 seconds. It showed a doc. A man in a coat walked into frame. He turned his head. His face was blurred, but the way he moved, the tilt of the head, the posture, Mara knew in her bones it was Thomas. Then the camera cut. A voice on the recording said, in a language Mara didn't understand, "Tell them to stop." The file had been recorded from a phone tucked into a nursery plant. Someone had watched Thomas live. And then they had watched him stop answering. Mara tried to trace the origin. The upload had gone through a VPN. It led to a virtual mailbox in another country. Now we are at the cliff edge. The people who can make a case vanish are not always in dark suits. They can be one name on an account. A cleaner who never knew she was being used. A security guard whose memory can be bought. A lab that makes mistakes. Rosa sits in her cell and counts the days. She keeps a list. Names. Dates. Details. She calls them small bones. Mara has one more lead. A toll booth camera on the highway leaving the city. It shows a van the night Thomas disappeared. The van is unbranded. But someone edited the timestamp on the clip. The raw feed exists. It is stored on a server in a town 2 hours away. Mara drives there alone. She arrives at dusk. The town is small. Its diner still serves pie. The server asks if she's from the city. She says yes. She asks about the server facility. The server guy shrugs. "It's just storage," he says. Mara walks in. Cameras hum. A man in a gray hoodie watches a bank command line blink on a monitor. She approaches. He looks up. His face is a worn map of regrets. He says one sentence, "You shouldn't dig." Mara shows the Polaroid. She shows the video. The man blinks. He says, "You weren't supposed to see that." Before he can say more, the building lights cut. Everything goes black. Outside, a car idles. Its driver's side door opens. A boot hits the gravel. Mara turns. A shadow moves fast. A hand clamps over her mouth. Another slides into her bag. She tastes metal. A voice whispers very close, "Stop now." Mara doesn't stop. She bites hard. She breaks free. She runs. A shot rings. No one hits the ground. But the sound makes birds scatter. Mara ducks behind a dumpster. Her phone is gone. Her recorder is gone. The Polaroid is smashed. She crawls to the road. She looks back. The van is gone. In its wake, a single white envelope lies in the lot where she was standing. Her name is on it in thick black ink. She picks it up. Inside, a single line of paper cut like a command. See Part 2. And beneath it, a photo. A photo of Rosa's children. They are at play in a park. A timestamp, today. Mara's breath catches. The wind is a blade. The envelope with the photo of Rosa's children hits the gravel before Mara can even breathe. Today's date. Same outfits her sister posted online that morning. Same playground. Same angle, like someone stood right behind the swing set. The message is loud, "We see everything." Mara's heartbeat becomes a siren. She spins around the empty lot. No van. No footsteps. Nothing except a street light flickering like a dying pulse. This is no longer a story. This is a warning. She grabs the envelope, shoves it into her jacket, and runs. Her car sits at the far end of the lot, small, tired, dented. But the moment she reaches it, her stomach drops. The driver's side door is cracked open. Not wide. Just enough to whisper we were here. Her back tenses. Her skin prickles. She ducks, checks under the seats, the back row, the floor mats. No one. But on the steering wheel there's a smudge. A fingerprint. And scratched faintly into the plastic. He's still alive. Mara feels the ground tilt. Is it a trap? A breadcrumb? A confession? She doesn't know. But she does know one thing. Someone wants her to keep going. And someone else wants her gone. Two forces. Both dangerous. Both circling. She starts the car. The engine coughs awake. She floors it. The drive home is a blur of headlights and paranoia. Every car behind her feels too close. Every turn feels watched. She keeps checking the photo of Rosa's kids. Not because she wants to, but because she can't not. Their smiles feel like a countdown. When she reaches her apartment, she doesn't go inside. Her instincts scream no. She walks past her door. The hall is too quiet. Too still. She knocks on her neighbor Rita's door. A retired nurse. Tough. Sure. Can I? Mara hesitates. My lock. I think someone was in my place. Rita doesn't ask questions. She simply nods, grabs her old service flashlight, and steps out like she's still on duty. Together they open Mara's door. Nothing looks disturbed. Nothing is broken. Nothing is stolen. But in the center of the living room floor sits a single thing. A USB drive. Wrapped in a paper that reads, "For your next episode." Mara doesn't plug it into her laptop. She's not reckless. She goes to her old offline desktop. Air-gapped. Safe. She slides the USB in. One file appears. A string of random numbers. She clicks it. CCTV footage fills the screen. Grainy. Industrial hallway. Concrete walls. A man steps into frame. Dark coat. Hands in pockets. He turns toward the camera. It's Thomas Mercer. Alive. Walking. Breathing. Timestamp 3 days ago. But then a second figure enters the frame. Broad shoulders. Gray hoodie. The same man from the server building. He hands Thomas a folder. Thomas flips through it. His jaw tightens. He says one word. Rosa. Then the video cuts. Mara leans closer, pulse racing. Another file auto-opens. A distorted voicemail. Stop digging or Rosa will never get out. We need her inside. She keeps the timeline clean. Timeline? Clean? And then Mara sees something she missed in the footage. A logo on the wall. Faded. Geometric. An inverted triangle with 3 circles. She's seen it before. On old documents linked to Victor Hale. But not from his company. From a private intelligence contractor whispered about in tech circles. Triarch. Her stomach twists. If TRSH is involved, Rosa wasn't framed by accident. She was selected. Before she can think, her window explodes. Glass everywhere. A brick clatters across the floor. Mara ducks behind the desk. Rita bursts in yelling her name. Mara grabs the brick. A note is tied to it. You have 24 hours. She doesn't sleep. She watches the sun rise like it's judging her. By morning, she's made up her mind. She goes to the only person who can answer anything. Rosa. Inside the prison, Rosa's eyes look older. Tired. Heavy. She picks up the phone. Mara, what happened? Mara presses the photo of her kids against the glass. Rosa gasps. Her whole body trembles. She whispers their names like a prayer. Then she whispers something else. I didn't tell you everything. Mara leans in. Rosa breathes slow and ragged. There was a room in Thomas's house. A room I wasn't supposed to clean. A room not on the plans. Mara's skin prickles. I heard voices in there once. Not Thomas's. Other men. Talking about documents. Dates. Something called the exchange. Mara asks, what exchange? I don't know. But the night he vanished, the door was open. For the first time. A long shaky pause. There were papers. One had Thomas's name. One had Victor Hale's. And one had mine. Mara's stomach drops. She drives straight to the Mercer estate. The basement door is newly locked. She breaks it open. Inside she finds the panel. The hidden room. Cold. Soundproof. Empty. But wedged behind a shelf is a scrap of paper. A form. Stamped classified. One readable line. Subject. Mara Valdez, select for control group. Control group for what? Before she can breathe, a red laser dot lands on her chest. You really shouldn't have opened that door. The man in the gray hoodie steps forward. You've become a problem. Mara backs up. What did Thomas do? He smirks. Thomas didn't disappear. He was extracted. Rosa was chosen because she was simple, invisible, replaceable. For what? She whispers. For the trial run, he says. The timeline stays stable as long as she stays locked up. That's her purpose. Mara's voice cracks. And Thomas? Thomas is dead, the man says. But the videos? Old footage. Staged. Mara's head spins. That wasn't Thomas in the hallway, he adds. Just someone who looks like him. Before she can speak, his earpiece crackles. He nods. Someone wants to meet you. The basement lights cut out. A crash. A grunt. A body hitting the floor. When the lights flicker on, the man in the hoodie is unconscious. And someone stands behind him. Victor Hale. Wild-eyed. Unshaven. Terrified. Come with me, he says. Now. Mara hesitates. You framed Rosa. Victor shakes his head desperately. You think I wanted any of this? Thomas wasn't the victim. Neither was Rosa. We were. He drags her out, shoves her into a car, and speeds away. Thomas built something bad, Victor says. A predictive model. Something that maps potential crime. Governments wanted it. Others wanted it more. Mara frowns. What does that have to do with Rosa? She was flagged, Victor says. Not for anything she did. For something the model predicted she might do. Mara's breath catches. They framed her to test the system. Thomas approved it. I objected. They eliminated him. Then why are they after you? Mara asks. Victor glances in the mirror. Because I stole something from them. Headlights appear behind them. Black SUVs. Victor curses and slams the gas. The chase is violent. Metal screaming. Road spinning. The SUV rams them. Another blocks the lane. Victor swerves, breaks through a guardrail, and the car plunges into icy water. Mara fights her seatbelt. Victor grabs her wrist. His voice shakes. There's something you must know. She leans in. She didn't kill Thomas. But someone else did. Someone you trust. Someone close. Her blood freezes. Who? Victor opens his mouth, but the water swallows him. Mara breaks the window, escapes, claws her way to the surface. The SUVs vanish. Victor never comes up. She drags herself to shore. Shaking. Freezing. Lost. Her pocket buzzes. A text from an unknown number. He lied. Victor killed Thomas. She stares at it. Another text. Meet tomorrow. No. A place only Rosa would know. Her heart stutters. A third text. Come alone. A location pin drops. It's the old church Rosa cleaned every Wednesday. Then one final message appears. I can prove everything. Mara barely sleeps. Every time she closes her eyes, she sees Victor sinking, the hooded man collapsing, Rosa's kids in the photo, the note pinned under the van's headlights. By morning she feels hollow. But she keeps moving. Because at noon she must go to the church. She drives with the windows cracked, cold air slapping her awake. Her mind replays Victor's last words. Someone you trust, someone close. But who? She has no one close. No partner. No family nearby. Just Rosa. And the people tied to this case. She tries not to think about it. The church stands alone on a hill. Small. Quiet. Its stained glass windows dull in the winter light. Her phone buzzes. Inside. She swallows hard and steps in. The moment the door closes, the silence feels thick, like the air knows secrets. A figure sits in the back pew. But up. Hands clasped. Mara steps closer, heart thudding. Who are you? Her voice cracks. The figure doesn't move. Doesn't look up. Then, Mara. The voice is familiar. Very familiar. She walks closer. The figure lifts their head. It's Rita. Her neighbor. The retired nurse who checked her apartment. The one person she thought she could trust. Mara's breath locks in her chest. Are Rita? She stammers. Rita smiles. Small. Set. You were never supposed to get involved. Mara backs away. Her pulse goes wild. You sent the texts. Yes. You sent the USB. Yes. You staged the message with Rosa's kids. Rita nods gently. I made sure the children were safe. I took the photo myself. Mara's voice shakes. Why? Rita stands slowly. The years suddenly show on her face. Because I'm the whistleblower, she says quietly. The one inside disappearance. Mara's knees weaken. Rita steps closer, voice steady. They wanted Rosa locked up. They needed a control subject. But I couldn't let an innocent woman stay in prison forever. Mara stares at her, disbelief turning to a slow, creeping understanding. You helped me. I guided you, Rita corrects. But you were the one who did what none of us could. TRIRCH fears you now. They know you can expose the entire system. Victor said someone close to me killed Thomas, Mara whispers. Rita's eyes soften. I know. Victor lied to save himself. He killed no one. Mara's stomach drops. Then who killed Thomas? A beat. A silence that feels like the moment before thunder. Rita exhales. Thomas killed himself. Mara freezes. That's impossible. There's footage. Staged, Rita says. He arranged it himself. Thomas knew what he'd built. Knew what TRIRCH would do with it. He wanted out. But you don't leave TRIRCH. So he made it look like a disappearance. A kidnapping. A murder. He left evidence pointing to Rosa because he believed the model. He trusted the machine more than a human life. Mara's throat goes dry. But then the machine predicted something else, Rita continues. It predicted that Rosa wouldn't be the only one flagged. That eventually, it would flag Thomas himself. Mara's eyes widen. That's why he died. Rita nods. Thomas realized what he built would destroy him too. He took his own life to escape it. TRIRCH hid the body. Hid the truth. They needed the model to stay right. And they needed Rosa in prison so the data wouldn't collapse. Mara presses a hand to her forehead. This is insane. This is real, Rita says softly. And dangerous. Mara looks up sharply. Why bring me here? Why tell me all this? Rita's lips tremble. Because I'm done hiding. And because you're the only one who can release the evidence. Then give it to me, Mara demands. I already did, Rita says. Mara stops breathing. What? Rita smiles sadly. The USB, the footage, the voicemail. You already have everything you need. Mara shakes her head. It was stolen. In the crash. No, Rita says. You uploaded it. Mara's eyes snap open. Rita sighs. You forgot. But the moment you viewed the files, your offline computer auto-saved a backup to your recording software. You set it up months ago. You just don't remember because it only activates when external media is inserted. TRIRCH never knew. Mara's body feels electric. It's all on your cloud account right now. The whole conspiracy. Mara steps forward. Hope swelling. So Rosa can finally be released. Rita hesitates. Mara, wait. Her voice tightens. You need to know something else. Mara's heart drops. Please, not another twist. It's important, Rita whispers. She reaches into her coat. Mara stiffens. Rita pulls out a small envelope. Inside is a court transcript. A petition. Signed. Stamp. Filed this morning. Motion for immediate release, Rosa Valdez. Reason, wrongful conviction. Mara gasps. Rosa, she's free? Rita nods. I made sure of it. Before I came here. Mara feels tears at the edges of her eyes. Then, it's over? Rita closes her eyes. No, not yet. Her voice breaks. Mara, they know what I did. Triarch. They know I leaked everything. Coming here today. I won't leave this building. Mara's breath catches in her throat. No, we can run. We can leave. We can. Rita touches her arm gently. Let me finish something good before I go. Mara shakes her head violently. You don't have to die for this. Rita gives a fragile, peaceful smile. I already did. A sound echoes outside. Engines. Doors. Boots. TRIRCH is here. Rita turns to her. Go. Out the back. You have 10 seconds. Rita. Go. Mara runs. She bursts through the back exit. Across the icy field. Toward her car. Behind her, the church doors slam open. Shouts. Footsteps. A single gunshot. Then silence. Mara doesn't stop running. Not until she reaches her car. Not until she locks the doors. Not until she collapses over the steering wheel, sobbing. But she drives. She drives because Rosa is waiting. Because Rita didn't die for nothing. Because the truth is on her cloud account. Because she can finish this. Because someone has to. It takes 3 hours to upload everything to every news outlet, every police oversight committee, every whistleblower organization, every reporter she knows. And then all she can do is wait. At dawn, the sun breaks over the horizon. Her phone explodes with notifications. News alerts. Government statements. Emergency press conferences. TRIRCH files seized. Full investigation launched. Model shut down. Rosa cleared. Officials detained. The world is on fire. Mara stares at the screen, hands trembling. It's over. It's actually over. She drives to the prison gate. Rosa steps out. Her children run into her arms. And for the first time in this entire story, someone truly cries from relief. Mara walks toward her. Rosa drops to her knees, hugging her kids, sobbing. Mara smiles through tears. It's done, she whispers. Rosa reaches out and grips her hand. Thank you. For not giving up. For seeing me. Mara nods. I promised. But before the moment settles, Mara's phone buzzes. One message. Unknown number. A single sentence. The model wasn't predicting crime. It was predicting who would uncover the truth. Mara's blood runs cold. Another message appears. And you weren't supposed to survive. She looks up. Across the street, a figure stands. Gray hoodie. Face shadowed. He lifts his head. Smiles. Then disappears into the crowd. Mara stares after him. The case is closed. The truth is out. Rosa is free. But somewhere out there, someone still watches. Someone still pulls strings. Someone still has the machine. And Mara realizes one final thing. Stories end. But systems don't. The truth saved Rosa. But it painted a target on Mara's back. She whispers to herself. This isn't the end. Thanks for watching this story all the way to this point. If you felt the chills, if you got hooked, or if you're ready for more real-life twists like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. I drop new true crime stories, shocking reveals, and deep dive mysteries every single week. Don't miss the next episode. Hit subscribe. Turn on notifications. And I'll see you in the next case.